So this is our 1-by-1 play review of Sherlock Solitaire. Now, in our one-play reviews, we typically will play a game one time and then turn on the camera and give our first thoughts and first impressions about how we thought about the game, and then decide if we want to play it again. So this is going to be a little different because I've actually played the game twice. So I played it once solo, and then we played it together as a two-player co-op.
Right.
So that's why it's 1-by-1. So you've only played it once,
right?
2 players. So we got the full experience of what's available in the box. So in the game of Sherlock Solitaire, you are playing either Sherlock or Dr. Watson and trying to solve one of Sherlock's little mysteries. The way you go about doing that is you pick which story you're going to be doing, and they give you a way to win the scenario. And the way you're going to play the scenario is by playing out these cards into these 2 different areas. So on one side you're going to have the office, and the other side you're going to have the crime scene. So on your turn you're going to have 4 cards in your hand, and you have to place 2 on one side, 2 on the other. And when you place cards into the office, you must play an investigation card to start a set. And the investigation cards are the ones with the numbers on them. So there's numbers 1 through 4. Mm-hmm. Once you have a number down, then on top of it you must play one of the letter cards, which are the threat cards. I almost forgot what they were called. So in the crime scene, the sets that you're making, they must be all the same number, but different letters. So all the same investigations, you're continuing that same investigation, but you have different threats happening throughout that investigation. And then of course you can have 4 different sets going at a time. If you have numbers 1 through 4, you can't repeat a number with a new set. Then in the crime scene, is you're putting down cards. Whenever you have a pair of cards, if you have a pair of numbers, you get to do one of their abilities. So if you're playing, for example, Sherlock, his ability at the very bottom for like 2 1s is you get to move an investigation card from the crime scene over to the office. And both Watson and Sherlock have slightly different abilities to manipulate how the cards are and move them around. Now, however, if you get 2 letters of the same in the office, you discard those and you receive a wound. Wounds are bad. Yeah. In the general game, 3 wounds, game over. So you start off with no wounds. You have this wound card here that you're going to be making vertical so that you have a minor wound. You flip it over for a severe wound, and then if you get a 3rd one, that's game over. So both of the scenarios that I played with you were the Valley of Fear, which is the intro case that they suggest that you play. Mm-hmm. So in the Valley of Fear, it gives you some flavor text here, but to solve it, you have to create 3 sets, with each set containing 4 or more investigation cards, and those will be obviously in your office. So you're just trying to get through and manipulate those cards and move them back and forth. So what did you think of this game?
It made my brain hurt.
Yes.
I was like trying to manipulate the cards and trying to move the threat cards from one side to the other, or making sure you didn't get too many of the same to get the wounds was hard to try to figure out. But we got through it, but it made me think way longer and harder than I wanted to.
Yes.
But the art is really cool. It was really fun and puzzly to try to get it to work out.
Yes. Yeah, when I was playing it, both in the 2-player and the 1-player, I felt like the meme with all the numbers floating around my head.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to figure out, like, okay, if I do this, I can do this. Then I can put this here. Oh, no, wait, if I do this and I put this, then I can do this, then move this here and get this ability. And it's all about timing when stuff happens.
Right.
And trying to move stuff and just manipulate the situation. Mm-hmm. I found the 2-player version to be slightly different just because you had advanced knowledge, which you don't have in the 1-player game. So if you're playing with just one investigator, you have your hand and you don't know what's coming up next. When you're playing 2 players, or if you're playing with 2 investigators, which you can also do solo, you kind of like know what the next investigator stuff is going to have.
Where you have that communication between the two.
Correct.
People. I mean, so I'm sure if you played the solo player with both investigators, you still would have the option to do all of the abilities of both guys. So you kind of would have that knowledge, but I don't know if you would have that extra or that other thinking mode, the other person thinking.
Not necessarily, you wouldn't be able to bounce ideas off of anybody.
Right.
But when you are playing 2 players, whoever turn it is, only their investigators' abilities will trigger.
Right.
So if you put down 2 ones over in the crime scene, and it's Dr. Watson's turn, only Dr. Watson's stuff will trigger. Same thing with the solo 2 investigator mode.
Right.
So you're going to alternate back and forth between Sherlock and Watson. So if you're playing Watson on that turn, only Watson's abilities are gonna flip.
Right.
But with us playing the 2 players, it was kind of nice. I could see what I had in my hand and kind of relay that information to be like, hey, this is what's coming up. I can do this on my turn if you do this on your turn. Mm-hmm. So it kind of helps a little bit with that. And I didn't see a problem with that since this is a solitary game, a solo game, essentially. So there's no reason to have no closed information between the 2 people.
Right.
Investigators are going to be communicating with each other and everything. And yes, as you said, the artwork for this is absolutely gorgeous. This is from a Wise Wizard Games. So this is the same artist that did one of their other games. Now I can't think of the name of it. But they did one of the other ones. I think they mentioned that when we interviewed them at Origins. But the artwork is just this really awesome, like kind of like a dark, almost Cthulhu-esque. I guess Sherlock and Cthulhu kind of have the same kind of art style if it goes a very dark path. But it has some really, really gorgeous artwork in this game. But yes, it is a very thinky game.
It was fun. But it made you think a little bit on how to keep yourself from getting wounds and trying to complete the set, because you got to go number then letter, and you can't have 2 of the same letters in the same set, and it's just like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? But you can't have too many of the matching on the crime scene side, or you get these wounds. So you have to balance, and it's a way of balancing it out. But it worked out pretty good because we won the co-op game. We won that one, but you did not win.
I did not win when I played solo or Sherlock.
So it was me that was your luck. So
yes.
You needed my help.
Okay. But yeah, it's very puzzly.
Yeah.
If you want to sit down and you are in the mood for a puzzle, I think this game would scratch that itch very, very well. And if you have a partner with you that wants to sit and play a puzzle as well, this is a really, really fantastic way to do that. Now, there's fluff on the cards that give you like, oh, here's a story, a murder happened, and this were the clues that we found. That really doesn't really play into anything that you're doing in the game. But I feel like the puzzly, like manipulation part of it still felt very, very Sherlock-y to me.
Yeah, it was the calculating where to put your items so that you can try to get the set within at least 1 turns or whatever possible.
If I do A, then you do B, then I can do C and D, and then that can get us further along.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets you into that Sherlock thinking ahead and clicking everything together mindset. So, do you think that you want to play this again?
Yeah, because I think I want to see how Sherlock plays.
Oh yeah, because you played Watson.
Because I played Watson, so I would want to see how Sherlock plays, and then I would want to try the other versions of the scenarios.
Yes. Because
the scenarios have 3. I think it's 3 ways to play each scenario. There's only 2 scenarios, but you can have 3 difficulties of each one. So I would want to try to figure out or try to work those other ones
Yes.
in. So
Yeah,
see
for
how that comes
example,
out.
with the Valley of Fear, the standard, as I told you, was the 3 sets with each set containing 4 or more investigation cards.
Right.
When you play on hard mode, you start off with a wound immediately.
Yeah.
And then if you want to play on expert, you start with 2 wounds. And remember, 3 wounds and you're done.
Yeah. So to see how good you actually are. Plus, it also is it's a matter of your card draw as well.
Absolutely.
The luck of the card draw, because usually you're putting 2 on one side and then 2 on the other. But if you don't get the right cards, and you can wind up getting your wounds early, and then you're out of it. Or you can get the right cards, and then it winds up progressing in a way that you I got lucky.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Just have to see how it plays out.
Right.
So
I mean,
yeah.
it's just dealing with what you got in the best way you can.
Yeah.
I don't even think I even touch expert mode in this game. I don't think I'm ever going to be at that level.
I'll take care of that.
But yes, this is something that I definitely want to play again. Even just by myself. I played Sherlock both times. I might just try a solo of Watson, or I might even try to do the solo 2 investigator version.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely it's something that I would definitely check out. It's a small enough box. I do wish that they had more cases in the box. You only get 2 with 3 ways to kind of play them, but it's still the same thing. I think they could have put a few more in there in the box. Maybe there's going to have future expansions. They can be very, very small, so they wouldn't be that expensive to have for this game. But definitely something I think that if you are in the puzzly kind of mood, you might enjoy. So with that, just thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Click all the links down below to follow us everywhere in social media. And we'll see you in the next video.